Hi everyone, welcome to Odessa Film Festival 2020. This is an online edition and this is a great honor for all of us to have here the guest of honor, fantastic Swedish director Roy Andersson, this year recipient of the honorary Golden Duke Award, director who creates the unique style in his films. His latest film on Endlessness got the Best Director Award in Venice Film Festival. His previous film, Pigeon Sat on a Branch Reflecting on Existence, got the Golden Lion Award for the best film in Venice Film Festival. They love him in Venice Film Festival. Hi Roy, welcome. It's an honor to have you. How are you?
Thank you very much.
Well,
I'm fine.
the first question I have is, do you feel lucky that do you feel lucky that your latest film on Endlessness was released last year, not this year? You know, because this year is totally different. So do you feel lucky about that?
Nu ska vi se, vad menar han nu?
Ja, att den släpptes innan corona.
Ja.
Alternativet hade varit om den hade släppts. Är du glad för att den släpptes förra året?
Ja. I'm very happy and honored because
Yeah, I
when you
mean,
make a movie, of course, you want to release it as soon as possible. So I'm happy. Thank you.
no, I mean, actually what I mean is that most of the film releases this year, they are not released in cinemas because cinemas are shut down. And actually, maybe this is a silly question, but what I wanted to ask is, do you believe in luck? Do you believe in fate? Because many characters of your film talk about fate. So what's your take on fate and luck? Can you talk about that?
Believe in fate.
Ja, jag tror på ödet. Det var tur och...
Vad heter det nu då? Vad heter det när man inte är vidskepelse? Vad är det fan heter?
Superstition.
Ja.
Superstitious.
Ja. Yes, I must say I'm not superstitious at all. I trust reality. I'm not superstitious, and I'm very happy to have that belief still. After many years, I have that belief still to trust reality. Det var mycket.
Okay. One of the prominent features of your films is that you show that tragedy can be funny. Where does it come from? When did you realize that tragedy can be funny, actually?
I think it's not my expression, but I think that vad heter han nu igen, den stora absurdisten. Vad heter det?
Vilket land kommer han?
Vänta på Godot. Beckett. Beckett, he formulated that. He said that sad or sorrow is funny.
Okay.
And I agree. It can be seem to be absurd to say so, but I think there's a bit of truth in that formulation. Sad is tragedy is funny. It's not necessarily cynical to say so, but it's a bit of my sense of humor, I think, also. You can see in my movies, they are sad but also funny. At least people say so.
Yeah, that's true. Your films are sad and funny at the same time. And one of the things that I've learned while I was preparing to this talk, that you have quite a unique approach to the way you make your scripts, that actually you paint the scene You know, you paint it. I mean, you draw the scene and then you paint it with watercolors. Can you talk about that? When did you start doing that, and how does it, you know, how does it affect the way you shoot the film? How does it affect the film?
You know, I started my career with a typical realistic style, and I was very, very much influenced by Milos Forman and that generation. The daily life humor, and but after 15 years, I changed my mind. I planned to stop filmmaking, but I found suddenly a tool to come out of that depression. I saw that I have to make something abstraction, and that's how I found this style, influenced very much by the painting history also, and some of the films in film history, but above all painting history.
Och varför gör du skisserna? Varför gör de skisserna?
Ja, the sketches. Yeah, the sketches, people say they are very good. For me, it's only a way to to find the scene. So for me, they are not very good. But people say, "Oh, they are fantastic." But we will see.
Okay, I think one of the things that your fans, the fans of your film, don't know is that the most of the films, the most of the scenes are shot in the studio. So even when we see when we see the girl, the father with his daughter walking in the rain, it's actually most of it is the studio. Can you talk why you do that? How does it help you to control what you have what you have in the film?
I think that everybody can see what I want to have a reality condensed and purified to make it more clear. So it's close to cartoon, yeah. So I started as a big fan of neorealism when I was young and passed film school, and I worked with that style for 10, 15 years, and one day I felt that I don't want to make. I wanted to be something else, not a filmmaker, but I found suddenly a tool to come out of that depression. So by help of the painting history, I found a more stylized and condensed tool, expression.
Och varför jobbar du i studio?
And it's only way to reach that qualities is to be in a studio. You cannot. I tried many times to make the same in outdoors, but it's not possible. There are so many things that destroy your in studio you have control even also over details, and the details, they are very important for me. And if you shoot outdoors, the details, you have not control over the details, and I'm so irritated about that, to lose control over the picture, the scene, and
Okay.
the most simple expression I can give you is that I'm very, very, very close to painting history. I wanted to be painter myself, an artist by painting when I was young, but when I saw the neo-realistic movies, for example, Bicycle Thief and so on, I changed my mind. I think, no, I don't want to be painted more. I want to be a filmmaker. So that's how I started my career.
And one of the things that are true about your films for the outsider, when the outsider watches your film, they look very Swedish to the viewer. But this is Sweden that does not exist because you create it in the studio. And where does this image of Sweden, of this a little retro, a little you know, this colors, where does this Sweden come from? You know, what's your view of the Sweden that you put in your films? Can you talk about that? If it's not very silly, I mean, the question is not silly.
But I must say that my ambition is to be universal,
Okay.
to find something universal, the style. Life, human beings, they are similar all over the world. And that's also my ambition to show that. But however, I had to make the movie in Sweden, and with that ambition to stylize and condense, I was forced to go into a studio, and I'm still there. I'm still there.
You know, there are two topics in your films that you usually make fun of. They are church and bureaucracy. What are your, you know, relations with bureaucracy and church? I mean, what are your takes on these topics, you personally?
Bureaucracy. What's that?
What was the two was bureaucracy and
Bureaucracy and church.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, bureaucracy and church. And you make fun a lot, you make fun of them a lot in your films.
Yeah.
So what's, can you talk about, why do you make fun of them? Why do you have this need, this urge to make fun of bureaucracy in church? Is it something Swedish? Is it something universal?
I think it's something universal. And I must say confess that I'm a big fan of Buñuel.
Okay.
And Buñuel, he made movies about daily life and about church, about religion and so on, and with an undertone of humor. I think it's very interesting, and that's my way of go further, to make fun of very, very ordinary things, and even very, very forbidden things as to church and religion, and yeah.
Do you get criticized for that? Do you get criticized for making fun of church?
har du blivit kritiserad för att ha angripit kyrkan?
No, I must say that I was afraid of that risk, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. I don't know why. We are so tolerant here in Sweden, but you can be very, very, very sarcastic against things, church at least. But no, I was accepted. I really had a fear of being not hanged, but executed because of this my style and my worldview. But it didn't happen, and I'm happy that I'm still alive, so to say.
Well, if you make such a film here in Ukraine, you're gonna be executed. So you're very lucky that you live in Sweden. And the question that I have, you talked a lot about it, but as we know, in this like 25 years between your second feature and the third feature, the songs from the second floor, you shot like 300 commercials, something like that. So you worked in commercials. And we know that sometimes it could be very tough to work with advertisers, you know, because they want, you know, to show their product, and, you know, it's very difficult to work with advertisers. How did you survive in this world? How did you strive in this world? Because you made I watched, I think, like 200 of the commercials you made, and they're fantastic. So how did you survive in this world of commercials?
Yeah, that's a very special situation for me. You know, when I passed film school and started to make my first feature film, was very, very successful. Not only in Sweden, all over the world. A Swedish Love Story. And with that success, I could go on without any objections, so to say. I was accepted. So I have my commercial career. During that career, I have had free hands almost all the time. I have changed my mind because of the customer's opinion, but only 2 times. But I think I made 200, not 300, but 200 commercials.
Okay. So, I mean, how did you survive? I mean, how did you communicate? You know, because you have insurance companies, or you have the producers of chocolate, or you have Citroën coming to you, you know, the cars to advertise their latest model. So, how do you communicate with them? I mean, because when I talk to commercial directors, they say that they become very cynical very soon. They become tired, you know, of advertising. But you did great work, and you did it, you know, like for 15 or maybe 20 years. So what's your secret, you know, to talking, communicating with advertisers, to make them happy, to make yourself happy?
Yeah, but I must say that I work with my commercials with the same seriously as I do with the features. So I don't make any difference between features and commercials. They are, it's the same. And it's, of course, you know, if the client or the customers, if they say this is good for us, for our company, if they feel that this is successful for us, they give me free hands. And that has happened now for 15 years, at least. I have had free hands most of the time.
Do you have a favorite commercial? I know this is a trivial question, a banal question, but do you have a favorite one? Because me, as a viewer, I love the one Citroën car, when the old car, the used car, they goes to the car wash, and then you realize that this is not the advertising of the car that we see, this is the advertising of the car that we don't see, actually. You don't show the car. Do you have a favorite one?
Ja. Vilken är det jag har?
OSV brukar du nämna.
Ja, it's there is an institution in Sweden or a company that sells advertising for to have to buy a flat or to find a flat for young people. And I made one movie with that, and it's about
Han är 40 år och bor hemma. Han är 40 år och bor hemma.
Ja. And yeah. We see a family, a couple, old couple, and they have a son still living in their home. And it's very tragic to see that this son, I think he's more than 40 years old, and he's still living by the parents. And very tragic to see. And there is a birthday celebration, and the father and mother, they coming into his, giving him a cake, and and he suddenly burst out. I don't stand it anymore. I don't stand it.
Yeah,
And the father said, what's the matter with you?
yeah, I think I watched it. And coming back to your films, one of the important topics that you talk about is World War II, because like in the latest film that you made on Endlessness, you have Hitler. In the film Songs from the Second Floor, you have the old guy who says hello to Goering, you know. So why is it important for you to talk about this topic? Why is it important to mention this in the films that you make?
You know, I was born 1943, during the Second World War, and the Second World War had followed me all my life. My father was, he was not, yeah, he was he was inkallad. He was
drafted tror jag.
yeah, he was young and drafted as a soldier to watch the border to Norway, because there was the Germans. But he was very polite and said that the Germans were very good. But he was a communist. But he was still polite to the Germans in Norway. And I think that Second World War is one of the, I think it's the worst behavior of human beings all time. It's terrible to see. I'm so depressed and aggressive also when I see all these sides of the fascism and Nazism. It's so terrible, and I cannot understand how people can behave like that. So no.
Can we talk a little bit about your family? You said in the interviews, you said that you were from the working class background, and you becoming an artist. You just said that you wanted to be a painter, and then you became a director. So can you talk about the family? How did your family and your background influenced you?
Yeah, I wanted to be an engineer.
Engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to invent perpetuum mobile.
Okay.
And me and my schoolmate, we made some experiments to find something that you could get energy without, in perpetuum mobile. And but I changed my mind as when I saw these fantastic films from the period in the 70s, European movies in the 70s. They opened my eyes for something else than commercials or entertainment, something more deep and interesting and important.
Jag tror också om föräldrarna och bakgrunden liksom.
Yeah. And my father and mother, they were not intellectual. My father a little bit, but he was a Stalinist.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But a
Okay.
very, very kind Stalinist.
A kind Stalinist. Okay. Okay. So did they support you? I mean, when you told your parents that you want to be a film director, what did they say? I mean, like, did they say, Roy, you're out of your mind? Or did they say, yes, son, good luck to you?
Yeah, but they was they were a little worried, and the relatives we had in the family, my parents' cousins and friends and so on, they said, how can he survive by this to making movies? I think that the best thing is to be an engineer and start to work at the, I was born in Gothenburg, and there we had 3 big companies that built boats, ships. So there were, and all my friends, and they started their life by being a worker at these companies that built ships for all the world. Very good ships.
Okay, and where did you get the money for the first film? Because as far as I know, not as far as I know, but this is true, that the first films that you made were like political documentaries. You made a political documentary first before you made the feature film. Can you talk about that? Where did you get the money? What was the film about? What was your idea behind the documentary film that you made?
When I was past the film school in Sweden, we had free. We could have the camera. We could have tools. We could have råfilm. Filmstock for free. So I had a good time during the film school, and that's how I could find opportunity to make these movies, political movies. And I think that it was a fantastic idea for me to combine commercials and even could make something political interesting. And I don't know why not more people did like that, but I did. And I found a good combination between commercials and to make something very political and serious.
I think young filmmakers now watch our talk, and I'm sure they would love to have an advice, how to stay in film. So is the advice to combine something commercial with something serious that you really want to make, or is it an advice to take seriously all the work that you have, both commercials and films? Do you have an advice for young filmmakers?
No, the best I can say concerning this question is that be honest. Be honest. Be honest. That's the best thing to say. Och vad ska jag säga mer? Ärlig och and don't lose your strength. Go on with the same ambition that you had when you started, and that will help you in the future.
Okay.
I hope.
Okay. And how did you manage to keep your strength in this period of 25 years between your second and the third feature? It was like 25 years that you didn't make any films, the feature films, and you just said that you were depressed about that, and you thought you would never come back to film industry. So how did you manage to keep the strength?
Because I have made my commercials with the same ambition concerning quality as if I had made features. So there is no difference for me to make commercials and features, and even shortcuts. So I am never accepted to make. When you are a filmmaker in a commercial filmmaker, you are very dependent to the clients. But I have got very good clients all of the time because they trust what I do and they trust me. So I have a very special group of clients that come back to me all the time. So they are not worried. They say all the time, "Don't worry, go ahead, go ahead." And as soon as we have a success, we are happy. And my movies, my commercials, they are most of the time very, very, very successful.
Let's talk about your latest film on Endlessness. You said that 1001 Arabian Nights influenced it. How did it influence the film?
Yeah, I was so fascinated to read about to know that Arabian collection of stories, and I was fascinated that Scheherazade, the main character in this collection, she started to tell the king something, and the king was very interested. So he didn't want to stop it. He said all the time, "Go on, tell me more, tell me more." And day after day and year after day, she found new expressions to tell about life and existence. And I think that I hope that is it possible to make a movie that everybody want. You should not stop, just continue. And that's what happened. They said to me all the time, even from my film school, "Don't stop, go further." And I did, and yeah, that is where I am now.
And also, you used the voiceover for the first time in your films, right? To make this similar to 1001 Arabian Nights. You never had. You never. This is the on Endlessness is the first film where you use voiceover, when you have a voiceover in a film.
I think that the idea of voiceover was coming out from a French movie. Vad heter den nu igen? Hiroshima Mon Amour.
Okay.
By Alain René.
Yeah.
There is a voiceover sometimes in that movie, and it was for me so fascinating to listen to that. And I think even there was a female voiceover. And in my latest movie, there are also female voiceover. But Hiroshima Mon Amour is a fantastic movie. It's one of my most important influence. It's a fantastic movie. But there is voiceovers that could, it could make it possible for the directors to go on by help of the voiceover. You can change mind, you can change ideas and happenings, and it's a very, very, very good way of it to be very free when you make movies. So that's a very, very important influence.
One of the most heartbreaking characters in your latest film on Endlessness is this priest who lost his faith. Where does it come from? I mean, because it's heartbreaking. First, we see just the man who comes to psychiatrist or psychologist, I don't remember, and he says, I lost my faith. And then we realize that he's actually a priest in a church. So where does this character come from? Where did you get him from?
I have full respect for the religion, but at the same time, I want to joke about it. uh, the priest in my latest movie, he's very sad person, it's a very unhappy person. Not, yeah, unhappy because he has lost his face. But it comes from me because I don't trust, I don't believe, I'm not a believer. And that's how it is. And I've lived all my life, around me people are believers. But for me it's so crazy.
Why is it crazy for you? Why is it crazy? When did you stop believing? Because I know that you said that in the interviews that actually when you were a child, when you were a kid, you attended the church, the mass, and when did you realize that it's not for you, you don't want to be a part of this community?
I think it's one of the reasons for that is my father, my background, and how I was treated by my father. And he was, as I said earlier, he was a pure communist, and I think that I was inspired by him to find, to find political reasons instead of religious reasons to survive and have a good life. And that's why I'm very big fan of Buñuel, because he's joking about faith in a very, very good way. Good, ja. Det var oklart det sista, va?
Nu kommer en ny fråga.
Okay, and we had, actually I watched on Endlessness here in Ukraine in cinema. We had a limited release of the film, and there was a message from you where you welcomed the viewers, welcomed the audience, and for some reason you said that it could be like the last film you made. Was it a joke? Tell us it was a joke, that it's not the last film you're gonna make.
I think that at that time I was tired.
Okay.
I was tired, and it's not easy to year after year go on and make new features, especially when you have that ambition to make something very, very deep and important for the human, for existence. So if I had the ambition just to entertain, I could have made more movies than now. But with the ambition that I have now, it will take me 3 years for each movie. And I don't know if I have force enough to make another one. We will see, we will see.
But do you have another one in production already? Do you have another one, the idea for another one?
Yeah, I have ideas all the time.
Okay.
And I wanted to be an author. Maybe I will write a book, because I'm so influenced by literature and art also. So
Could you please repeat that? I didn't hear. You're influenced by what book? By what book?
I wanted to write a novel.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Ja. Vad fan är det jag kallade den för? Jag hade en titel på den, va? Ja. Kommer du ihåg den? Nej.
Well, what kind of novel will it be? Can you tell a little bit about it? What kind of novel do you have in mind?
Yeah, there is a novel, number one in novel history. Number one, it's Voyage au bout de la nuit.
Okay.
Journey to the Night by Ferdinand Céline, the French author.
Okay.
That's my favorite. And I tried to contact with the company that had the rights, and they gave me the rights yeah. But I had no. They wanted me to make it in English,
Okay.
but I felt that it must be made in the language that's the original language, French. So I dropped that ambition. But that's a novel I could. No, I'm too old to have power to create this, but it could be a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic novel, and I hope that by help of this program, I hope that people will go to the bookshops and buy this fantastic novel.
Okay, okay. When you mention the films and the film directors who influence you, you always say, you always mention Buñuel, Vittorio De Sica. There is a Kubrick film, if I'm not mistaken, Barry Lyndon, but you never mention Ingmar Bergman. And this is could be like this could be a question that you don't like actually. According to Norwegian broadcaster NRK, you said that Bergman actually is a boring hack. Can you comment on this? Why Bergman is a boring hack?
Jag vet inte riktigt exakt, men alltså han är tråkig.
Yeah. He has made, I think it's 50 features. And I think that maybe 2 are acceptable. No, it's not, what you say, it's not my cup of tea.
Well, this is very unpopular to say so, you know, because when people talk about Ingmar Bergman, they say, okay, every film he made was a masterpiece, and you say different. So why isn't it a cup of tea of yours?
No, I think his compared to my favorites as Buñuel and De Sica and so on, I think that Bergman is superstitious, childish. It's the best description. But I don't want to be cynical, but I think it surprises me that he is so appreciated abroad. For me, he's not very, very, very interesting. Yes, maybe as a person he can be interesting, but his stuff is not interesting.
Okay, and I have a funny story. I just rewatched your first feature, Swedish Love Story, and actually you can watch it in Odessa Film Festival in retrospective, right? So I watched the film and I thought it was a little bit Bergman-esque. But then I realized, when I thought it was Bergman-esque, I thought about Fanny and Alexander, and it was shot much later than a Swedish Love Story. So the question is actually, how did you approach your first feature film? What was the main idea? And this is actually could be the advice for young filmmaker who approaches the first feature film.
Yeah, I think I said it before, but I wanted to make something very, very good, something good about daily life humor. And inspired by Milos Forman, Jiri Menzel, and Ivar Shorm, the Czech filmmakers. And and of course also Bicycle Thief and Hiroshima Mon Amour. These 3 movies, Hiroshima Mon Amour, Bicycle Thief, and vad sa jag nu?
Eller Forman.
Buñuel, Forman and De Sica.
Okay.
These three filmmakers have inspired me very, very much.
But
And, and
do you watch silly Hollywood films that just entertain you? Do you watch Marvel movies? Do you go to the cinema to catch up on the latest production by Hollywood?
yeah, I watch them on television, but they are very, very seldom they are interesting. So no, Hollywood has not inspired me very much. The European film history during the 70s, that's my most important source of inspiration.
And what do you think about the Swedish cinema? I mean, the contemporary Swedish cinema. We have younger filmmakers like Ruben Östlund. What's your take? What happens in Swedish cinema nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's not very special for Sweden. I think it's all over the world. There is a Giliap, a new, there is stop because of the corona crisis. And there will be a stop and maybe something good out of that, that we could change our ambitions and change our view of what film can be. And there are not very many good young filmmakers in Sweden, as I can see. One example, Ruben Östlund. He's very, very special, especially when it's with his first movie, Guitar Mongo. I think it's very, very interesting movie.
And
But Ruben Östlund is, honey, he's alone. He's alone.
okay, and you said that this happens because the audience of the Swedish film is not small, but it narrows with the time. And to become successful, you have to shoot your films in English, right? So could this be the reason for some kind of crisis in Swedish cinema or in European cinema, that you have to shoot your film in English to become successful?
Ja, och han nämnde ett ord där, umbrush eller vad det var.
Jag vet inte. Men huvudfrågan var om lösningen för unga filmmakare i Sverige att göra filmer på engelska.
Ja.
Och det är det väl inte egentligen, utan det är att göra bra film.
I'm not a fan, not a big fan of this situation that young filmmakers in Sweden, they feel themselves to be forced to make movies, English-speaking movies. I cannot do that myself. I don't want to make a movie in English. That I want to make it in Swedish because the mother language. And I said before that that's why I denied to make Voyage à la nuit in English, because I think it's the mother language for that movie is French. But now I'm too old to do it. We will see.
Okay, and while we are in Odessa Film Festival, and how did Film Festival help your career? As far as I know, your first feature, it got a few awards in Berlin. Then you got an award in Cannes, and you got big awards in Venice Film Festival. How do they help your career?
Of course. Meet respect, of course, by help of these prizes. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud of that. And for example, in my start of my career with these prizes in Berlin, I was only 27 or 26 years old and got 4 international prizes So, yeah, there is a very special story about that. You can cut it away if you don't like it. But however, my father, he was coming from working class, but he started a small company selling vegetables and potatoes, and worked with that until he died. And however, he had a small shop in Gothenburg, and one day my mother called him the phone to his small office and said, his name was Arne, Roy has made a success in Berlin. Oh, and started to cry. So that's fantastic. For prizes in Berlin at that time was not bad.
But did this awards, like 4 awards in Berlin for your first feature film, did they spoil you? You know, when you're a young filmmaker and you get such big awards, so do you get your head too big, and then you make your film too ambitious? So actually the question is, did these prizes spoil you? I mean, the first ones.
Yeah, I must say, of course I liked them. I liked it, but there was also a risk, of course. But it was very good prizes. It was not. It was for.
Spelar ingen roll.
Nej.
Men sen var det väl tufft efter en kärlekshistoria också. Du vann mycket priser, men det var inte bara bra.
Nej, men så ja. No. It's very special because I was not happy to get these prizes.
Why not?
Actually, to
Why
be honest,
not?
I was sad, and I don't know. Now it's not easy to explain why, but I think there is the same situation for sportsmen when they winning gold medals in Olympic Games. They can feel very sad, even but enter the vad heter det nu, the steps. There is also a back side of this framgång. Vad fan är det? Success, yeah. It's not so simple. Oh, okay, you got 4 prizes. Now you must be very, very happy. No, I was not.
But do the prizes help financing your films? Because they are very unique, and you said that it takes 3 to 4 years to make a film. Does it help with financing? Does it help with advertising your film? Do you get the broader audience for your films after you get the prizes?
Ja, nu fattar jag inte riktigt vad han frågar.
Och priserna var... Jag tror att det var på hur påverkar priserna? Och det är väl kanske mest att det blir enklare med finansieringen.
Ja, jo, det är klart. Yeah, it's I have a very, very special career because I have this, vad heter det, framgång?
Success.
These successes with my first features and even successes with my commercials and the international success. So I have been a little, vad heter det, bortskämd.
Spoiled.
Spoiled. I've been spoiled. I have had, it has been very easy for me to make my movies, even if I was not happy for the first 4 prizes. So, however, in the long run, I can be very, very happy to see, glad to see how it has helped me. And I'm still also very happy with my work myself.
Why are you not happy? So when you rewatch the film that you made, you're not happy about the way the film looks, or did I understand you correctly?
Yeah, now, afterwards, I'm happy.
Okay.
But very short time after the movies are made, I can feel a little, yeah, some kind of depression, emptiness. But I think I will. I have learned to survive with these depressive feelings, and I still do.
So you think you can make it better? You think that okay, I didn't do my best. What is this depression about? Or did it is it do you have depression just because you finished the film, you finished the project? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's a. I think it's a question of existential depression, because success does not give you immediately a good. I said it before. Success, are two sides of success: feeling good, but also emptiness, and a success can also give you a feeling of emptiness. And but I try to solve that. I've tried to do it, and I also succeeded to come over these bad thoughts. And I don't know if I want to make another movie, but if I do, I'm aware of the risk that if you do something very, very successful, you can be happy, but you can also be a little sad.
Well, we hope that you make another film. And I have a very silly question. Well, technically, you're not the part of this Andersson family, you know, the Andersson directors family. I mean, because you're Andersson with two S, you know, in your surname,
Yeah.
in your last name. But I think you should make a club, because we have Roy Andersson, we have Wes Anderson, we have Paul Thomas Anderson, we have W.S. Anderson. So why don't you make a club like all the Andersons of the film industry? I don't know, maybe have a brunch, or maybe have a party somewhere. Do you have any favorites in this Anderson's family? Do you have a director whose last name is Anderson and you like what he does? This is a very silly question. I'm sorry about that.
I have one favorite with that name, and his name is H.C. Andersen, the Danish author
Okay.
who wrote Better Than Blonde. Yeah, you know him?
Yeah.
H.C. Andersen.
Yeah.
H.C. Andersen.
H.C. Anderson. Yeah, he wrote some children's books. Do you mean? Yeah. Like Ugly Duckling. It's his, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the favorite Anderson that you have, but he never made any films.
No, but I don't have another.
You don't have to
He's
answer this.
number one.
You don't have to answer this at all, because this is too silly. And now I think we have to wrap it up. I should say thank you to our honorary guest of Odessa Film Festival. This is Roy Andersson, a great Swedish director who creates a unique world in his films, and actually you can watch his retrospective in Odessa Film Festival. You can watch 3 films. The first feature is Swedish Love Story. Then you can see the songs from the second floor, and his latest film that got the Best Director Award in Venice Film Festival on Endlessness. So you should watch them. Roy, thank you very much for being with us, and it was an honor and pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. And I'm so grateful for your interest.
Okay. Have a great time. Have a great time. Stay healthy, and we're waiting for your next film. We're waiting for your next film. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.